Well, after a bit of a hiatus, welcome back, and it is time for the final round of the virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy. And we couldn't have thought of a better place than the home of champions, based in the Limburg region. Welcome to the virtual recreation of my European commentary home, Karting Genk in Belgium. Hi there, it's Alex Goldschmidt, your official commentator, welcoming you back for what is going to be the sixth and final race of this inaugural series. And what's more, looks like we've got someone doing a bit of grass hopping there. Thank you very much, Kai Rielets. So we have three drivers this evening. Obviously, due to the previous round at Christianstad not being aired, due to not just myself, but also Kai Rielets being unavailable, we still went ahead with the round as planned, and there were two victors in the respective finals. Laurent Kiers Makers took the first final, the pre-final victory at round 5, with Jaden Thien capping off his sixth victory so far. Firstly, we'd also like to say a big thank you to our partners for this inaugural karting trophy on the Road to Formula YouTube channels and Twitch channels as well, to Kart Sim Limited, IMB Racewear, and the Grand Prix Virtual World Challenge Sim Series. So, what is going to be up for grabs tonight? Well, it is about time to talk about that once more this time around. The victor, who will be crowned the inaugural champion on the virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy, will get 1 month free guidance provided by Road to Formula, worth €650. Second in the standings, that driver will get a custom set of karting or simulator gloves, courtesy of IMB Racewear. And the third place driver in the standings will get one data acquisition session, courtesy of Road to Formula, on a track of their choice. So we're going to stick with the relevant format as such. And what we will have is we will have the standard qualifying session. So it will be 5 minutes or 3 timed laps. Each qualification heat, which will take us through to the intermediate classification, will be 10 laps, and the two finals will be 10 laps apiece. As Kai Rielets, that was definitely a cut across, and I think that was probably from the small karting track over to the entrance into turn 10. But it looks like we're about to get things now underway for qualifying. So we will have Rafael Renhofer, Jaden Thien, and Kai Rielets competing tonight. And at the moment, as things stand, Jaden Thien is leading on 182 points in consideration of drop scores. Rafael Renhofer and Kai Rielets, as a result of not being present for the previous round at Christianstad, what that means is that they can take those as dropped scores. Now, effectively, from what I can see, Jaden Thien on 182, Rafael Renhofer on 157, and Kai Rielets on 152. Now, the thing is that there is a maximum of 50 points available tonight. So this is what I'm going to say. I've got 2 words. Game on. And even though Jaden Thien, with his 2 drop scores coming courtesy of the opening round, which was, if memory serves me correctly, you see I'm trying to remember all these things. It's difficult for a commentator at my age as well. South Garda, our first round on the 12th of November. So here we are on the 22nd of December, just before Christmas, and we're just waiting for the times to come in. There is Jaden Thien in the number 8. No real benchmark set as of yet, but it will be a case of waiting to find out what happens, who's going to be the one that really comes up trumps in qualifying, and it is about pretty much having that perfect evening. And I know for a fact that all three of these drivers will want to do that over the course of the next hour or so, where we will thereby crown our champions. And Jaden Thien looking pretty good at the minute, but not as good as Rafael Renhofer. So Thien crosses the line. That's a 56.688. Renhofer comes across the line 56.604. 605, so 83 thousandths quicker. Kai Rielertz has gone quicker by over a tenth and a half in Sector 2, and he goes provisional pole on a 56.541. These three covered by just under a tenth and a half of a second, and that to me says that these three drivers will give no quarter, leave no stone unturned as Jaden Thien runs a little bit wide coming out of turn 9 into the right-hander at turn 10, and then it's into the left at 11. One more corner to negotiate. 1,360 metres of prime Limburg tarmac that they will battle across. And now Thien crosses the line. He goes top of the timesheets, 56.440, and all three drivers know now is not the time to make mistakes at any point this evening. But Kai Rielertz has done... Oh, he's got over 2/10 quicker than Thien in the second sector, and he's the one to go under 56.4 for the first time this evening. 56.388, and you can just see how hard Thien, Rielertz, and Renhofer are pushing at this particular moment in time. So a 56.388. Jaden Thien has gone purple in Sector 1, and he's put in a 21.178, a 17.651. This could be a pretty good lap from the youngster from Susteren in the Netherlands as he comes around the 12th and final corner. What's the time from Jaden Thien? We're about to find out. Oh, he pips him, and he goes sub 56 and spins off the circuit off of turn 2 in celebration. But we still got a minute on the clock to go. 55.974, the quickest lap of anybody this evening. 56.262 from Renhofer. Rielertz has gone purple in Sector 2. Is he going to get any closer? Oh, 56.165 for the driver that took the Euro Trophy Championship this season. And I think also it was third in the B&L Karting Series this year. So, I hope you're not doing a Corby Bowles there, Kai, because Corby's moving into Rallycross next year. So it looks like he's now decided to exit the pits, and that is it for qualifying. But what a lap from Jaden Thien! My goodness, that was a howitzer. That one. That was pretty much a 55.9, and Rielertz did get close, but not close enough. So that means that these three drivers. Let's look at it from this perspective. If Jaden Thien secures 32 points, because effectively, if you do take third in it, it's 16 points apiece. And I'm just looking at it right now. That would put him on 214 points. So, effectively, I'm just looking at it from this way. Neither of the other two drivers can catch him unless there's a sudden problem. Because the thing is that if Thien has an issue from a software or a hardware perspective, that could throw everything out to caution. But I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. But we'll be back in a moment with our first of 3 qualifying heats, 10 laps, here at the Home of Champions. Well, welcome back as we're about to get underway with our first of three qualifying heats here at the Virtual Rotor Formula Karting Trophy. Here is your starting order. This will be for all three qualification heats, as is normal in both the Euro Trophy and also the BNL Karting Series. Jaden Thien for every heat will start from pole position ahead of Kai Rielets, and then Rafael Renhofer will start behind the pair in front. And as you can see, the podium there on the inside of turn number 11, that has the famous letters GKS. Of course, GKS Lemons Power, based at the circuit as well as the Genka kart shop. So the drivers now will get themselves on to the formation lap, and Kai Rielets better watch himself going into turns 1 and 2. So he will have to really watch it this evening. He's won around here before, so the likes of Jaden and Rafael, they've both had their fair share of trials and tribulations at this circuit in a multitude of different karting classes. And having commentated on all three of them, I know that we are going to be in for one hell of a rodeo this evening here at Karting Genk, because they're now coming through turn 8. It's a short blast up to the left-hander at 9, which is the final main hairpin on the circuit. A little rundown towards where you see the grandstands and the drivers trying to get some temperature into those tyres. As Rielets runs a little bit wide going into turn number 11. So, the 12th and final corner, the drivers now steel themselves and get themselves ready for race 1 out of 3. So here we go. Let's see as they now go into the tram lines. Push the accelerators hard to the floor. The lights go out, and do we go racing? It looks to be the case, and always a little bit of a biff there from Rielets going into turns 1 and 2, but Thien trying to keep ahead of Renhofer as they now make their way through into 4. Up into the left at 5 before the right-hand hairpin that takes them onto the infamous Europolan here at Karting Genk. So it is Rielets from Thien from Renhofer. They're covered by half a second. Down the back straightaway as now Thien sends it up the inside, as does Renhofer on Rielets. And Rielets, tags the barriers coming out of turn 7. And now that puts him right on the back foot. So just by looking at the points at the moment, that Jaden Thien, no matter where he finishes, will effectively wrap up the title here. Well, he's already done that at Christianstad, it looks like, from my estimation. So it is between Rafael Renhofer and Kai Rielets for the custom-made karting or sim gloves by IMB Racewear, and that's something that they will want to keep their hands on and will want to grab with, as they say, you grab the bull with both horns and you go along for the ride. Well, at the moment, Renhofer is the one that seems to be actually manhandling that bull, whereas Rielets has been thrown asunder, so to speak. So we're on lap number 2. Again, the top 2 covered by just over half a second. So Thien leads from Renhofer, and they both take a bit of curve going through the first part of turn 7. As now Thien will come into turn 9. And Rielets is about 5.8 seconds or so behind these drivers at the minute, so he's trying to put in the hot laps. He's running in, well, he's put in a purple sector 1, a 21.213. Jaden Thien quickest in sector 2. Renhofer trying to close on Thien for the lead. Jaden Thien puts in a 56.230 on that last lap as he now enters into turn 3 as we go into the back bumper cam of the 08. He's running in the light blue colour. Renhofer in the 1 is running in the red. And then Kai Rielets in the dark blue, running in the number 3 kart. And normally, for those that are familiar with the BNL Karting Series and the Rotax Max Euro Trophy, who do frequent this circuit, along with the Rotax Max Challenge Belgium, Rotax Max Challenge Germany, which celebrates its 20th anniversary next season, has also raced here in the past. So is IAMI Belgium. And there is Kai Rielets. He's running a little bit further behind than he would like to be, but obviously with that massive send from Rafael Renhofer going through into the end of the Europolan into turn 7, he tagged the barriers, but he's trying to catch the 2 in front at the moment, and at the minute he is second quickest out of everybody. He's just put in a 56.344. Thien is actually consistently quick on the 56.2s, low 56.2s, I might add. But Renhofer has just gone purple in Sector 1 as Thien and Renhofer bump over the curbs on the inside of the first part of Turn 7. While they head into the right-hand sweeper at 8. Down into Turn 10 go the two leaders. And it's 1.3 seconds at the moment. That is the lead that Jaden Thien currently has so far. So we're now going on to lap number 5. And Jaden Thien is absolutely blitzing the timesheets at the moment of 56.114. But Rafael Renhofer is only that is 0.45 behind in terms of fastest lap. So Renhofer was purple in Sector 1 and Thien just literally blitzed it purple through Sectors 1 and 2. But Thien looks to have lost a little bit of time in the first sector. Renhofer over a tenth quicker. And then Kai Rielertz, he's been in a 21.2. So at this particular stage, Kai Rielertz does not need to worry about the fight for second position in the standings. And the reason for that, as he runs wide coming out of Turn 9 and kicks up the dust through there and also through the apex of Turn 10, it's not here that he really, really needs to get things right. It's the two finals. That's what he needs to get right. 5 laps to go here in the first heat. And Renhofer, has been in a lap time, the fastest lap of this race, a 56.111, 3 1,000ths quicker than Jaden Thien's fastest lap of this race so far. Dry conditions overhead. Not normally a very typical sight in Genk, if I'm completely honest. Normally when I get there, I get blamed, being Anglo-German, and it's like, hey, British guy, you always bring the bad weather. Well, considering the fact that one circuit that's about 95 kilometres north of this particular track, Spa-Francorchamps, has its own microclimate, and the same is true at Genk. As Jaden Thien goes purple in Sector 2, and his lead now over Renhofer is about 1.1 seconds so far. Renhofer trying to make some inroads, but with this and 3 more laps to go, it could be a bit of a tall order. Jaden Thien is controlling things out front, not having to worry too much. He's done a personal best in Sector 1, as Renhofer goes hopping over the curbs like a bunny rabbit. Kai Rielertz was a personal best in Sector 1 as well, a 21.134. So Jaden Thien continuing that trend of leading from the front and having done the business in qualifying with a 55.9. Jaden Thien looks to be setting another personal best. He's getting closer and closer. He's about a tenth off of his qualifying pace. It's pretty impressive consistency from Jaden Thien, but Kai Rielertz actually beats the pole time. Well done, Kai Rielertz, 55.956. Personal best in all 3 sectors, and it doesn't necessarily need to be purple. But Renhofer has just put in 21.110 first sector here at Genk, as he's trying to still continue to chase down Jaden Thien. So after this lap, we'll have 2 more to go. And Rielertz is closing, but not by much. Not by the margins than some people would possibly expect, if you would. Renhofer sets a personal best in Sector 2 with 17.672, but look at that gap. It is starting to come down. Lap 9 out of 10, and the gap between first and second is around 1.2 seconds as Renhofer now goes through Turn 2 into the left at 3, now into 4, and into the left at 5. Penultimate time of coming down the Europalan for Jaden Thien. He's led from lights out. Could be a case that we'll end up going to seeing that at the checkered flag in just over a lap's time. So he's got about 1,750 metres still to go in the first qualifying heat. So we'll put him in good stead for the remaining 2 heats. And don't forget, you can head to, social media, use the hashtag Rotor Formula, hashtag KartSim, hashtag Rotax Max Euro Trophy. Last lap board is out for Jaden Thien here in the first qualifying heat, and it has been pretty much coolness and calmness personified for the number 8 from the Netherlands. So he is consistently quick, and he's been putting in the 56.2s, high 56.2s, Reinhofer in the mid 56.2s. Gielers has been running pretty quick, and if he hadn't had that issue with the first lap going through turn 7, I think he would have stayed with them, and that would have enabled him to possibly have gotten the upper hand going through into the next qualification heat. But just 3 more corners remain. Into the right-hander at 10 for Jaden Thien, the left at 11, and then it is the right-hander at turn 12 that comes back in on itself and explodes out. Out of the final corner, Jaden Thien comes 1 step closer to overall title glory in the first of the 3 qualifying heats. So he will pick up 0 points. So it's a bit different to Eurovision out there. 0 points for the winner, 2 points for Reinhofer, 3 for Gielers, and there goes Gielers trying to do a bit more rally crossing, because obviously he can do that on a kart sim, but you can't do that in the real world. And oh, cheeky cut off there through the Europalan into the exit of turn 9. So that's it for the first qualifying heat. We'll be back very shortly with heat number 2 here at Karting Genk, the home of champions. So, welcome back to Karting Genk, the home of champions. Another race to get underway very, very shortly. And once again, the order is as follows. Jaden Thien will start from pole position. Kai Relets will start from second, and let's hope he has a better run this time. And effectively, he will then have plenty of opportunity to try and see if he can get the upper hand on Rafael Renhofer, who starts from stone dead last, even though it is third position. So, 10 laps once again on this penultimate qualifying heat of the inaugural Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy. Brought to you in association with KartSim Limited, IMB Raceware and the GPVWC. A big thank you to them for their support through what we have done so far. And this is the sixth and final round. So effectively, we might be able to declare our champion pretty much from final one if Jaden Thien finishes the race and in third. That's all he needs to do, and he's won the title. So, the formation lap. I'm looking to get through it pretty quickly before we get on our way with the rolling start. 1,360 metres, that's 13.6 kilometres of racing here in the Limburg region at Belgium. So it is Thien on pole, Relets alongside on the front row. We get into formation for the second time this evening. Who's going to get the jump through to turns 1 and 2? They come out to the 12th and final corner, into the tram lines. Once again we go. Revs rise, lights are out, we are off and racing, and Relets going side by side with Jaden Thien, heading into turns 1 and 2, and there's a bit of a clash between the pair, and Renhofer jumps the pair of them. More dramas for Relets. More dramas for Relets going through into turns 1 and 2. Oh my goodness me, and now the boot is on the other foot for Jaden Thien as they now head through the Europolan for the first time of asking. So Renhofer leads, Thien in second. And Relets not too far behind this time, so maybe he might be able to have that opportunity of catching up and seeing what can happen very, very soon indeed. And we are on board with Jaden Thien at the moment as they come through into turn number 11. So in that sort of respect, it will be a case that Thien is looking to close. Relets has gone purple in sector 2. Thien has gone purple in sector 3. But Renhofer is the one that's really put the times in, because Relets, as a result of that turn 1 and 2 skirmish, he's 3 seconds off of Jaden Thien, but now he should be able to pick up a bit of speed. Thien, in the meantime, has got that gap to under around 2 tenths as they go through turn 7. Bumping over the curbs into 8. Now into the left at 9. Thien possibly could go for the move here if he tried, but the right-hand sweeper at turn 10 is another good overtaking opportunity. A little bit of a run wide by Renhofer that particular occasion. But they go into 10, into 11, and there, in the distance, comes through into the shot. Just in the back there was Kai Relets. So whilst these two are squabbling, Relets has absolutely got the wind beneath his wings, so to speak, through sector 1 as he's put in a 21.2, over 2 tenths quicker. Jaden Thien's put the fastest lap in, a 56.532 at the moment as we are on lap number 3, and Relets is closing. He's put in the fastest lap of the race so far, 56.377. Fastest in sector 1, personal best in sector 2. Thien has gone quickest in sector 2 in comparison with everybody, but not now, because that is now Kai Relets, and Relets really is chomping at the bit. You can tell how hard he's pushing just by the sector times. As Renhofer runs wide coming out at turn 9. Thien looking to capitalise. They go into the right-hander at 10. into the left at 11. Rielertz is getting closer and is he going to get close to another sub 56 second lap time, Kai Rielertz? Because look, whilst Thien and Renhofer are battling, this is allowing Rielertz all the time in the world that he needs to catch up. They're on to lap number 5, a 55.982 from Kai Rielertz, the best lap. Well, I think probably the third best lap this evening, but Rielertz set the timesheets purple and has absolutely flown around that circuit. That's one of the reasons why he's in the top 3 in the B&L karting series, and for 2021 he'll be the reigning and defending Rotax Max Euro Trophy Junior Rotax champion, and he's going to be heading off to Portimao for the Rotax Grand Finals late next month to represent Team Belgium, and I'll be working alongside him as part of the Team Belgium. I'll be the Team Belgium social media manager amongst one of my many roles and tasks that I'll have. But look at how close Jaden Thien is on the back of Rafael Renhofer for the lead of this race as they head through the right-hander at turn 2, into the left at 3. Now 4, up to the left at 5. It's a bit like the turn 7 triple complex at Istanbul Park that had its return to Formula 1 this year. As now we go on board Rafael Renhofer. Look how close Jaden Thien is. Jaden Thien, as my good friend Henry Burdett would say, is within lunge range. Sorry, Henry, I had to nick that one off you there, buddy, but we're getting close to the end of halfway of this second qualification heat, and again Renhofer runs wide coming out of turn 9. Thien can sense the opportunity is coming. It's not a case of if, it's a case of when. Jaden Thien will literally lick the stamp and send it like Daniel Ricciardo up the inside of Rafael Renhofer. They come out of the final corner. Halfway down, halfway to go, 5 laps remaining. And Renhofer goes purple in sector number 3. And is actually the fastest out of the trio at the moment. Rielertz seems to have dropped off a little bit at the minute, but he's still trying to push forward. He's not making any personal bests like he did a few laps ago. But we'll wait and see as the 2 leaders make their way down the Europolan. Normally in regular Rotax racing, you'll see that the guy or the girl behind will have the absolute slipstream. And Rielertz has just put in the fastest first sector of anybody in this race so far as Jaden Thien looked up the inside of Rafael Renhofer through turn 9. It is only a matter of time before Jaden Thien does put that move onto Renhofer, but as all Thien runs wide coming out of turn 11 and then through into the right-hander at turn 12. So Jaden Thien still keeping in touch with Rafael Renhofer. There is still plenty of this race to go. We've got 4 more laps remaining. And this is where it's going to make all the difference. Thien just needs to keep the pressure onto Renhofer at this particular moment in time, whilst Kai Rielertz, he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain here, because he's put in a 51.116. And look, Thien's now darting all over the back of Renhofer, going through into turn 7. The pair nearly come to contact there. It's all up the inside goes Jaden Thien, but it's put him to the outside for turn 9. Will he get the switch back? He does. And it's side by side between the pair as they go down to turn 10. But Jaden Thien has got the lead. After 6.5 laps of trying, Jaden Thien now takes the lead again. He won the first qualification heat earlier on this evening, and now he's in prime position. And I'm wondering, does Rafael Renhofer have anything in the tank to try and catch him up as they go through turns 1 and 2? Rielertz is not as far behind as he has been throughout the majority of this race. The gap was at its highest was around about 3 seconds, but now he is within 1.6 seconds of Rafael Renhofer. But we are on lap number 8 out of 10. And Rielertz now starting to drop off a little bit here. The gap between him and Renhofer now looking to expand. I think it's possibly expanded to nearly 2 seconds. I'll make that 1.6 or so. But Jaden Thien, he's just got to keep going as, Rielertz has had another disaster. That's going to put him down into 3rd place once again. And it's going to keep him there. So a track that has served him well in real life seems to have become his nemesis, has it, for Kai Rielertz this evening here at Karting Genk. But like I say, what he needs to do is he needs to beat Rafael Renhofer this evening in both finals to make sure that he can get his hands on those custom-made racing gloves, either karting or sim, depending on the preference of the driver, courtesy of IMB Racewear. I know that Kai does use a particular supplier for his racing gloves in the karting world. And I'm not going to mention them because that will be a conflict of interest. So I hope I hope Kai can understand that. I hope you guys and girls watching at home will also understand that as well. So we're going to get on to the final lap. Don't forget, hashtag Road to Formula, hashtag KartSim, hashtag Rotax Max Hero Trophy. So we are now on to the final lap of this second of 3 qualification heats. So 1,360 metres remain for Jaden Thien to calmly come across the checkered flag and take a second win in a row this evening. He's had 6 finals in his pocket this season, and the way things are going, it's been looking rather pretty for Jaden Thien in the fact that he has come back from the depths of adversity, and he has fought, and this is fought back every single time. He has made sure that he's been in the right place at the right time whenever it's required. And what's happened this evening, it's now going to be, in just a couple of seconds time, Jaden Thien from Soesteren in the Netherlands, coming around the 12th and final corner here at Karting Genk, the home of champions, and he wins qualifying heat number 2 here in Belgium, ahead of Renhofer by about 0.6 of a second. And it's there's definitely no lady luck shining on Kai Rielets as he crosses the line in P3. So at the moment, Jaden Thien in the intermediate classification has 0 points. Rafael Renhofer has 4, and Kai Rielets, last but by no means least, has 6 points on the intermediate classification. As oh, that's a bit of fast driving through into the dummy grid. But we'll be back very shortly with our third and final qualifying heat, the final one of the inaugural season of the virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy. Back in a moment, folks. So it all comes down to one more qualifying heat here at the virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy. Here is the starting order once again, and it is going to be as follows. Jaden Thien ahead of Kai Rielets, who hopefully it will be third time lucky in the qualifying heat stages, ahead of Rafael Renhofer. So fingers crossed he might have an opportunity to try and get himself into the order in some respects. However, we have one more 10-lap race to conclude the qualifying heat stages of every one of the 6 circuits that we have visited so far in this karting trophy. So we initially started off with South Garda, then Zuera, then Le Mans, Adria for round 4, Kristianstad, our unbroadcasted round for round 5, and then here at Karting Genk. So the thing is that even though Kai Rielert is 3rd in the intermediate classification, it does not mean that it's all over. Effectively, the gap between him and Rafael Renhofer in the points is 5. And effectively, if Kai was to win both finals and Rafael finished in P2 for both of them, effectively he would take 2nd in the standings, because it would turn it into, effectively, so you look at it from this instance, it would be 197 if Rafael took both 2nd place finishes in both finals, and with Kai it would be 202 for getting a maximum score of 50 points in both finals. However, that chapter is not quite written just yet. As we go into the tram lines for the 3rd and final qualifying heat, it is lights out, they are off and away. Let's see if Kai Rielert has a bit more luck going into turns 1 and 2. A little bit of a bump from behind on Jaden Thien by Rafael Renhofer, as there is Kai Rielert up the inside, and he keeps Renhofer at bay. Went for it, and now has himself into 2nd position. Now they come down the Europalan for the first time out of 10 laps. Very straightforward from all 3 so far. This time Rielert negotiates turn 7, and that's the furthest he's actually got in any race before having any sort of particular moments, like he did in the first race at turn 7 and the previous race at turn 2. So this, I feel, is going to be a bit more of a close quarter affair over the next 9 laps, as we are about to complete lap number 1. Jaden Thien continuing to command proceedings at the front of the field as they head into turns 1 and 2. On board with Rafael Renhofer. He's been racing in Rotax Euro, Rotax Germany, amongst others, and also a bit of B&L karting series this season. Kai Rielert has been running in the Euro Trophy and also in the B&L karting series. Jaden Thien, I think he's been running in OK Junior this year, particularly in Germany this season. So he's been, and he is a Rotax alumni as well. He competed for Team Netherlands last year and was very, very competitive in Minimax last season. And he's gone purple in both. Well, he's gone purple in the first sector. Kai Rielert's as fastest of anybody. No, it's Renhofer. My apologies there. Renhofer fastest of anybody in sector 2. As Jaden Thien puts in a 56.240. Rielert's on a 56.487. And Renhofer's trying to close him down. The 3 are covered by about 1.2 seconds at this particular moment in time. It looks a bit more even Stevens on this particular occasion. Rielert's now having a bit more of an interesting race than we have seen in the previous 2. A little bit of dust kicked up from Rielert's and Renhofer going through turn 7. Thien still comfortably leading and is about 0.8 of a second ahead of Kai Rielert's as they come into turn 9 into the right-hander at turn 10. And for those wondering what kart we're using as a base for this, we're using the Senior X30 as opposed to the Rotax that I'm more commonly associated with. As we come across the line now onto lap number 4, 3 laps completed. The trio are covered by about 1.8 seconds. Felix has dropped back behind Thien a little bit more than just 0.2. It's about 1.1 seconds at the moment between first and second position. Down the Europalan once again. Renhofer goes slower than anybody in the first of 3 sectors here at the 1,360 metre circuit. Run by the Lemons family. Paul and Corn Lemons, 2 very, very well known individuals within the world of karting, well, incredibly enough, with the name Lemons being associated with this area and also with this circuit. And this is the second iteration of Karting Genk. Obviously, there was a previous version back in the up until the 1990s before this edition of Karting Genk was then brought about. So Rielitz not out of the woods, I think, because Rennhofer is definitely closing up at this particular moment in time. And it was 2000. The original track was founded in 1983, just outside of Hasselt, and in 2005, it was actually completely restyled in order to get the CIK FIA homologation. It also hosted the World Championships in 2011. It also hosted the FIA KZ World Championships, along with the International KZ2 Super Cup, and also the Academy Trophy, where Corby Pauls, for those from Belgium, if you are watching, goedenavond. Hope you're all keeping well and staying safe over there. And I look forward to coming back to Belgium to commentate at some point in the not too distant future. That Corby Pauls literally secured the victory on home soil here at Karting Genk, and now moves into Rallycross at the moment. So we are getting closer and closer to the final few moments of the qualifying heat stage here at Karting Genk, and it has been pretty much even Stevens. Kai Rielitz looks to improved all the way through and puts in the fastest lap of the race of 56.147 on the completion of lap 6 itself. We're on to lap number 7 out of 10, and it has been pretty much line astern, well, with about 1.5 seconds separating first and third position at this particular moment in time. Rielitz still trying to push and has gone a little bit quicker than Thien, but Rennhofer has gone quicker than anybody else in the first sector, bumps over the curbs through turn 7 and into 8. Now we're going to go into the left at 9. And this is where it's going to get rather tricky, as Rielitz again goes personal best in sector number 2. Rennhofer down a little bit on time by nearly 1/10 and a half on Rielitz in that second sector. So now we go on to, we've got 3 more laps to go as Jaden Thien puts in the fastest lap of anybody, a 56.131, and puts in a 17.2 second sector lap time in third sector through that time, and Rennhofer definitely the quickest out of anybody in sector number 1. But Rielitz was quickest in sector 2 out of the trio. We're running between a 21.2 and a 21.3 in the first sector at the moment. That's Thien trying to stay ahead of Rielitz. And Rielitz trying to close that gap. There's Rafael Rennhofer. He looks to be dropping off a little bit now behind Kai Rielitz, and the gap now is about 1.5 seconds between the pairing. And Rielitz has gone purple in sector 2 with a 17.549, and this particular time he puts in a 56.047. So he's closing that gap on Jaden Thien, and we are on to the penultimate lap of this race. We're on to the penultimate lap of the final qualifying heat in this championship. There's a bit of a run wide there from Rielitz. That will lose him a little bit of time through the Europolan, but he's trying to make the best of it. He's got that gap down a little bit more. It's fluctuating anywhere between 0.5 and 0.7 between the two leaders at the minute through turn 9 for the penultimate time. And Kai Rielitz using the curbing on the outside of turn 9 and then some, as Jaden Thien sets a personal best. Right, This is the final 1.36 kilometers of the qualifying heats in the virtual Road to Formula karting trophy. Don't forget the hashtags. Hashtag Road to Formula. Hashtag Kart Sim. Hashtag, well, even IMB Racewear. Hashtag GPVWC. And hashtag Rotax Max Euro Trophy. So through into the Europalan for the final time in the qualifying heat stages comes Jaden Thiem, but Kai Heulert's looking to get closer. And he looks to have done a personal best in sector number 1 so far. Could be the fastest one out of the trio at the minute. But in many respects, it is about what he does in the next race that could be quite pertinent. But one more corner. It is 3 for 3. Jaden Thiem from the Netherlands takes a clean sweep in the qualifying heats this evening. Kai Heulertz takes second, with Raphael Renhofer taking third. And again in celebration this time, Kai Heulertz decides to go grass cutting. Well done, Kai. You're making that Senior X30 not a kart. You're making it more like a lawnmower. Well, that's it for the qualifying heat stages here at Karting Genk, as he he's ended up in the campsite now as Kai. Well done, buddy. But that's it. As he, yeah, I think he's going to try and find his motorhome for the evening, or try and get himself back into the dummy grid. There we go. Well, that's it from the qualifying heat stages here at the final round of the virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy here at the home of champions Karting Genk. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time with the first of 2 10-lap finals. You don't want to miss it. 2 more races to go, and it looks pretty much certain that we could be crowning in just around 10 or so minutes' time our inaugural virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy champion here at no better place than the home of champions, Karting Genk in Belgium. So, after the intermediate classification, Jaden Thien had a perfect score, 3 for 3 for the Dutch driver, and he starts on pole position. Alongside him, with a total of what will be 7 points after intermediate classification, will be Rafael Renhofer from Austria, with Belgium's Kai Rielerts in 3rd place. Okay, 3 drivers, but it's still going to be ultra competitive. We're now going on to the formation lap as Rielerts has a bit of a naughty up. He was trying to warm those tyres up, and that really didn't help. But he's got plenty of this lap to try and catch up with the rest of them. So very shortly, we will be going racing for the penultimate time. But the battle for 2nd and 3rd in the standings, not over yet. And I don't think it will be until we get to our final race, which will be after this one. So Jaden Thien will lead them from pole position. Renhofer will be alongside, and Rielerts will be in 3rd place. 3 drivers known by the many people that frequent this track. Obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic, it has been very, very difficult to have spectators at karting events across the globe this season. However, we're about to get things underway for the penultimate final of the inaugural Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy, brought to you in association with KartSim Limited, the GPV, WC and IMB Raceway. Round the final corner we come. Wait for it as they come into the tram lines. They push the accelerators hard to the floor in a moment's notice. Lights out, they're off and racing. Now into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Rielerts trying to go on the back bumper. Oh, he steals up the inside of Thien into the lead. Now Thien can use that runoff area only on the first lap. Any time after that, that will be a 3 or 5 second penalty, depending on if he ends up 2 or 4 wheels out of the track. And now Thien coming under pressure from Renhofer. So the battle quite clearly on. Renhofer sends it up the inside, but Thien defends as they bounce their way over the curbs. And this is going to give Kai Rielerts the opportunity he needs, because the results from final number 1 will determine the grid for final number 2. Jaden Thien at the moment is on what is effectively 202 points. Rielerts will be on 177, and Renhofer will be on Rielerts will be on 177 for being in the lead, and Renhofer will be on 173. So effectively, if Rielerts does win this and Renhofer stays in 3rd, then Thien will take the title, and Rielerts will have a 4-point advantage. So he would effectively just need to stay ahead of Renhofer going out of the final round. And I'm just sort of looking at it from this perspective, that even if Renhofer wins the final race and Rielerts finishes in 2nd, Renhofer will secure 2nd by 1 point. But, and that is a big but, because you don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what's going to transpire. And at the end of this, it is going to be all to play for. We are on now lap number 3 out of 10. Rielerts has put in the fastest lap of anybody, a 56.247. Second lap time of 56.469 from Jaden Thien, and a 56.447 from Rafael Renhofer. Rielerts was quickest in the 1st and 2nd sectors. Renhofer was quickest in the 3rd. And now Jaden Thien has started to respond to try and clear away from Renhofer and close the gap up to Rielerts. So Rielerts now definitely trying to make good his intentions as they have come out of turn 9 into the right-hand sweeper at 10. Through into the left at 11. Jaden Thien is on absolute fire at the moment. There's fire and brimstone coming from those tyres on that card as he crosses the line. What's the lap time going to be from him? A 56.140. Purple in Sector 1 and 2. Purple in Sector 3 from Rafael Renhofer with the 17.234 third sector. But Rielitz is actually leading for the first time this evening. And Jaden Thien just casually taking it all in his stride as they bump and barge their way over the sausage curbs through turn 7. Then head into the right at 8, through into the left at 9. As Renhofer runs a little bit wide, coming out of that corner. Into the right at 10, making sure they use the curbing, not the runoff area, as much as humanly possible. So we go on to lap 5 out of 10. Rielitz still leads by just over half a second from Jaden Thien. Rafael Renhofer a further 4 or so tenths of a second behind. So the driver's now covered by about a second. As we head on to, we're on the 5th lap, so this is the 5th time that they'll have gone down the Europolanas. Oh, Jaden Thien looked rather quick going through turn 5 and into 6, and nearly bandside up the inside of Kai Rielitz, who bumps his way over the curbs as Thien runs a little bit wide going through turn 8. That allowed Renhofer to close up and Rielitz to get away into the distance. So Jaden Thien is basically the meat in the sandwich in this one. He's the one that's piggy in the middle and now has to decide, is he going to go after Rielitz or is he going to keep Renhofer at bay? 5 laps completed, 5 to go. In the penultimate race of the inaugural virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy, brought to you in association with Kart Sim Limited, IMB Racewear, and the GPVWC. A big thank you to them for making this possible. Now Jaden Thien, if he was a bit closer going into the Europolan on Kai Rielitz, he would have possibly have gotten the slipstream. However, on this particular occasion, Rielitz is very, very wise to that. He knows this circuit, Thien knows the circuit, Renhofer knows the circuit, I know the circuit. So we're like 4 peas in a pod here, aren't we? But the good thing is that Jaden Thien is keeping Rielitz very honest. However, Rielitz is managing to just stay away. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's gone purple in Sector 2. Now we're going to go on to lap number 7. He's put in the fastest lap of anybody, a 56.022 on that particular occasion, or 0.23 on the timing that has just shown up underneath the leaderboard at the minute. And it's getting very close to a historic moment, and I don't think either myself or the team at Road to Formula could have thought of a better place to host our season finale. It's normally a regular haunt of the B&L karting series, and in 2021 it will host the opening round of the Rotax Max Euro Trophy next season, amongst other championships. So Rielitz leads by about 3/4 of a second ahead of Jaden Thien. So it's the 0.3 leading the 8, and then the 0.1 of Renhofer as they come across the line. It's still about 1.4 seconds separating this trio. And the quickest out of the 3 that time around was Jaden Thien. We now go on board with Kai Rielitz running in the dark blue. And as normally he would run in the red, but that has been taken by Renhofer this time with Jaden Thien in the light Tron-esque cyan blue. Renhofer's gone quickest in Sector 1 out of the trio at 21.154, but it did not go purple in that sector. Thien's trying to get the gap down to Rielitz, and it's about 8 tenths as they go through into turn 11. So 2 more laps to go in this first out of 2 finals here at Karting Genk. And Kai Rielitz still leading, but it's less than half a second now between him and Jaden Thien. Renhofer, a further 7.5 tenths of a second adrift in 3rd place as they come through the penultimate time for turns 3, 4 and into 5. Into the right at 6. Onto the Europolan, now burying the accelerators to the floor. Got a bit of a run wide there from Rielers coming out of turn 6 into the right at 7. When it's a flick to the left, then into the right at 8. Before we go into the next hairpin at turn 9. And Rielers, you get him into the lead of the race. He will not let the rest take an inch. Well, not give them an inch, not let them take a country mile. After this, one more lap to go here in the penultimate race of the season. Don't forget the hashtags. Hashtag Road to Formula, hashtag Kart Sim, hashtag IMB Raceware, hashtag GPVWC, and hashtag Rotax Max Euro Trophy. As that particular occasion, it saw Jaden Thien getting closer to Kai Rielers, and that was going into turn 2. Now into 5, they're going to go into the right at 6. Thien looking up the inside of Rielers, but Rielers takes a tight line. Thien in the slipstream down the Europolan into turn 7. And Thien, looked like he lost a bit of momentum there going through into turn 8. So Kai Rielers has really helped himself in terms of how the championship is going to pan out. It's not going to be enough though, because they now come through into turn 11 for the final time. Round turn 12, it is going to be a win for Kai Rielers, but provisionally speaking, your inaugural Road to Formula Virtual Karting Trophy champion is Jaden Thien from the Netherlands. Rafael Renhofer will still have to fight for Kai Rielers for second place. So that is it. Well done to Jaden Thien, second position, and that gives him enough of a comfortable advantage no matter where he finishes in the last race of the evening. He is our inaugural champion, and next up it is between Kai Rielers and Rafael Renhofer, who is going to get the custom-made sim or karting gloves from IMB Raceware. Back in a couple of minutes' time. Okay, we've got a new champion crowned, and now we have to we have to sort out the scraps on the table, so to speak. I've just done some recalculation that as a basis of what's happened so far in terms of the points, Jaden Thien on 202 has got the title. It's guaranteed, it's assured, there's no problem. But then I've looked at Kai Rielitz and Rafael Reinhofer, that Kai Rielitz needs to finish ahead of Rafael Reinhofer to take second in the standings. So if he finishes ahead of him in either race, I think it will go to Kai's favour. So we'll just see what happens over the next 10 laps. So the results from final one determine the grids for final two. So it will be Kai Rielitz starting on pole position for the first time this evening. Jaden Thien in second, with Rafael Reinhofer rounding out the final order on the grid. So we'll have 13.6 kilometres of racing action over the next 10 or so minutes to decide who will be second, who will be third, who will take the IMB Racewear custom-made gloves, decided whether they want them for karting or for sim racing. And our third place driver in the standings will get a session of data acquisition on a track of their choice, courtesy of Road to Formula. And firstly, I have to thank Laurent, Matteo, and Vincent in helping to put this together. So we'll find out who we will be getting into second position in the standings. And as we've seen this evening so far, turns 1 and 2 at Karting Genk can put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons, and tonight is no exception. So the drivers now get themselves ready. We're going to head towards turn 12 as they go through past the pit lane entrance here at Karting Genk. So it will be Rielitz and Thien. They will be on the front row of the grid with Reinhofer alongside. Well, it looks like they're just waiting for Jaden Thien to get alongside Kai Rielitz into the tram lines one final time. They now start to press the accelerators hard to the floor. It's lights out. They are off and racing into turns 1 and 2. It looks like there's a problem for Jaden Thien already, as now Rielitz cuts a little bit of the curve going through into turn 2, into the left at 3. Reinhofer run on the back bumper. The trio now just over half a second between them all as they head into the Europalan off of turn 6 for the first time. Rielitz leads, Reinhofer in second, Jaden Thien in third, and they are literally line astern, bumper to bumper. You can't really separate them by an A4 sheet of paper, or as one of my good friends Chaz Draycourt would say, you can't even put a sticky paper note between them either, as they now come through 9, now into 10, as all little bit of a moment there for Reinhofer, and Jaden Thien could have nearly gone up the inside through turn 10. However, he decides not to. Through turn 12, he could have a run at a switchback opportunity, and he flies it up the inside. Runs a little bit wide on the apex, on the exit of the corner, and it's side by side between Thien and Reinhofer. This is what we want. We want side by side, pod to pod racing here in karting, and that's what we're getting here. Is all both Reinhofer and Thien both take the runoff area off of turn number 2. And this, in the meantime, has allowed Kai Rielitz to scarper away into the distance and get a lead of about 1.7 seconds as we're now on lap number 2, as Reinhofer and Thien now make their way through into turn 7. Be sure to not aggressively smack those curbs like it was going out of fashion, but Kai Rielitz currently goes purple in sector 1 at 21.331. He's just on a 17.7 on sector 2, with a 17.6 on sector number 3. This particular occasion, it's still going to be all to play for, as Jaden Thien wants to make sure he gets into the top 2. He won't settle for third best, as Kai Rielitz puts in another fastest lap of 56.371 second lap time, as you could just see how hard Thien is pushing. He's trying to take the tighter line, is Jaden Thien, through turns 2, 3, now into 5, as they're now going as the right-hander at onto the Europalan off of turn 6, and Kai Rielitz has been absolutely flying in the first sector. So has Jaden Thien, and Thien looking to go up the inside of Reinhofer. Reinhofer nearly making a mistake, and all Thien up the inside. They both go off and into the barriers, and that, I fear, has cost Raphael Renhofer the opportunity to become vice champion in the inaugural virtual Road to Formula karting trophy. That's a real shame for the young Austrian. Thien went up the inside, and I think, if I'm honest with you, that's pretty much a racing incident. That's my honest opinion on that, as Kai Hulitz, again, he's now going to be running away. He's hopping and skipping down the Yellow Brick Road in the Wizard of Oz, is Kai Hulitz at the minute, and he's up the road by about nearly 8 seconds. As we're on to lap number 4 out of 10. As there we see Kai Hulitz going down the Europolan at the moment. His best lap is a 56.291, and the lap times respectively for Jaden Thien and Raphael Renhofer were a 1 minute 1.997 for Jaden Thien and Raphael Renhofer a 1 minute 3.2. So in many respects, that incident between the pair of them has cost them some points. Jaden Thien won't be so worried about it, but Raphael Renhofer will be absolutely kicking himself that he might have just made a little bit of a mistake there, and that let the door open for Jaden Thien, who took full advantage as Kai Hulitz again puts in another fastest lap, and that was a 56.286 second lap time. There is Renhofer firing his way through into turns 1 and 2. We're now on to the 5th lap out of 10. And Renhofer now has put in the fastest lap of, looks like the fastest lap of the race of 56.191. As there's a little bit of a run wide there from Jaden Thien. And there is Renhofer trying to close on Jaden Thien. So it doesn't matter what happens now, because if Hulitz stays where he is and does not go off the track, God forbid, touch wood, I'm going to do this right now. That hopefully will mean that there will be a bit of lady luck shining on this young man, 14 years of age, currently with JJ Racing running in Rotax at the minute. 56.167 for Kai Hulitz as he now makes his way through into the left-hander at turn 3, and into the left at 4, then into 5. So he's going to take a second, looks to take a second consecutive win this evening, having not had the best of luck in the qualifying heats this evening. Kai Hulitz now makes his way through into turn 8. And after this, it will be another 5 more laps to go, and that will conclude the Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy season. Big thank you for you all that have decided to join us on YouTube and or Twitch. It's been a real pleasure being the official voice for this as well. I hope you're all keeping safe and staying well amidst these difficult times, amidst the current global situation, reference the pandemic. So Jaden Thien still sitting in... now Jaden Thien has put in an absolute stormer of a lap there. The answer from System in the Netherlands, 55.951 from Jaden Thien. He's got the gap down to under 7 seconds from, behind Kai Hulitz as he puts on the brakes going into the Europolan. You really can't see. He'll probably be able to see where Kai is, possibly somewhere else out on the track, probably by a track monitor or something like that. But on the screens at home, you can just see that as Jaden Thien goes through turn 8, Hulitz has already made his way halfway down the straight to get to turn 10. So it's been a pretty easy performance so far this evening for the 2 finals for Kai Hulitz, and there is that, I believe that is Renhofer, who's now following Jaden Thien. Renhofer's chance as Thien goes in and puts a 55.924 second lap time. Goes purple in Sector 2, just does Jaden Thien. But Hulitz might be wondering how far Jaden Thien is behind him. He's about 5.8 seconds at the minute, but it's not enough to try and close in on him. And then we'll have about 2.7 kilometres left to go when Kai Hulitz crosses the line to start lap number 9, as Renhofer seems to like that favourable characteristic of running a little bit wide coming out of turn 9. So there is Hulitz across the line. penultimate lap of the Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy as Kai Helitz puts on the brakes going into turns 1 and 2. Into 3, there is Jaden Thien and Rafael Renhofer making their way through as Helitz now makes his way up to the Europolan. And down towards the back straight away. And normally there will be parallel road-going traffic going in the same direction. Normally the karts will absolutely fly past them. Quite legally, of course. So there is Helitz coming out of turn 9. Going down towards turn 10 once again. After this, one more corner before we go into the final lap. A little bit of rallycross action there from Kai Helitz. Coming out of turn number 10. Last lap of the campaign. And Kai Helitz has been untouchable in both finals. Jaden Thien has already been crowned our inaugural Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy champion. And Helitz blasts his way down the Europolan for the final time this evening. Into turn 7, over the curbs, into 8. Sweeps his way through. Short blast up to 9. There's Jaden Thien, and not too far adrift is Rafael Renhofer. But we will have one driver that has done the double. He's done the clean sweep in the finals this evening. Jaden Thien did the clean sweep in the qualifying heats, but taking the final victory is Kai Helitz, who effectively secures second in the championship this evening. Jaden Thien, our inaugural karting trophy champion, clatters. I think the celebration is to punt your mates off after a good race here at Karting Genk, because Kai Helitz decides, I'm going to celebrate my 2 finals, my 2 victories in style, and then head into the pits. Don't try and find the motorhome yet, Kai. Oh, he's going to go to the podium. Good man. Look, there wasn't even a tannoy call needed for that one. So well done to Kai Helitz for becoming our runner-up in the inaugural Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy. Brought to you in association with Kart Sim Limited, IMB Racewear, and the GPVWC. And there you can see Home of Champions, B&L Karting Series, GKS Lemons Power, and Mojo. Brands well associated with Rotax itself. And I think Kai is going to try and explore every bit of the track and tries to get himself to the pre-grid. But that is it for the racing action. So Jaden Thien is your champion. Kai Helitz in second, and Rafael Renhofer rounds out the top 3. I couldn't have thought. I didn't know what order it was going to be in coming into this round. Obviously, having myself and Kai having both come back from Portimao, but it has been one hell of a inaugural campaign. So the Virtual Road to Formula Karting Trophy campaign, its inaugural campaign, ends here. We might be back very shortly, hopefully, with some driver interviews for you.